Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to DC's Titans. This time we're on episode 10. Episode 9, I didn't skip it. I did record a reaction, but there were some factors involved which kind of made it somewhat lesser of a reaction video and somewhat lesser of a video in itself. I recorded it super early in the morning, and as a result, I was still somewhat half asleep watching the episode, so I didn't really process a lot of what happened properly, and then the review was all fucked up, and, even going back through editing to watch it as a whole was just a painful process, so that is the last thing I want to put any of you through. So I decided, okay, yeah, this is, just not really anywhere near watchable. It's just, it's a friggin' shambles as a video. So I decided I will just, skip one episode ahead and just, do reactions from the next one onwards. So, yeah, episode 9, I did see it, I did watch it. And we had it was eventful. I'd say it was still eventful. So I mean, it kind of. It kind of went off the rails a little bit. I feel like like some of what happened felt like it like disconnected from what this season is. I mean, like, to me, as of so far, to me, the main stuff going on this season seems to be the Deathstroke Jericho stuff. Like, that seems to be the main of what's the main course of this season, if you will. Then you got other stuff like Rachel's powers kind of, readapting and becoming newer to her. She's rediscovering herself, and that was very, very. I mean, it wasn't really explored. They just kind of showed her using her powers. It wasn't really like a new thing. Last episode, and then we had Corey. Corey has her own stuff going on with Tamaran and having to become the new queen and everything. But then last episode, Blackfire sends one of her little purple gooey things to possess Fardai, and then have him kind of infiltrate, so that she can infiltrate the kind of the conversation between her sister and Fardai and everything. So she did that, and then she confirmed through Farah that she killed her parents. She was after her parents, but then she also went after Starfire's court and killed them too. So she has successfully secured the throne and any power behind it on Tamaran. So I think at this point, I don't know what her plan really was. I can't remember if she actually said she wanted to send more troops to actually collect Starfire, or if that's even part of what she wants to do anymore. But either way, she secured her position. So yeah, so then her ship was destroyed, because Faraday actually had to break himself out of it, so her ship was broken, but then his one was blown up by a Blackfire at the end of the transmission. So Faraday's gone. Faraday was burned by Starfire. Um, so yeah, so we have all that stuff going on. That stuff kind of, it seems like a way to introduce Blackfire and a bit more of Starfire's history as a princess of Tamaran and all that kind of stuff. So that's, it's okay. I think, I mean, I think the way they've connected her is bringing her back in and then having her kind of be like the kind of moral compass behind the Deathstroke stuff and the Rose stuff, like, her convincing them not to give up Rose and to actually fight Deathstroke, and being like the new heart of the team. So that's cool. But besides from that, we don't really see much from her, which sucks. But we had that. We had Connor and Gar. Connor woke up. Gar, like, the Dick confessed to the team that, he lied to, he even lied to the original team members. He lied to the original team members too. He told them that, Jericho was dead by the time he got to the church. But then he confessed that, he actually died trying to save Dick's life. So then that put a huge rift through them, and they all broke up. They all denounced themselves as Titans, and Hank and Dawn left together, and then they had their own thing, which I'll get to. And then Rachel left with Donna, which confused me because, her and Donna just, it's like they're one of the they're like examples of those characters that never really get any screen time together. So it felt really weird that Rachel would want to go with Donna, and like Donna even kind of reacted strangely to it, like, really, like, we barely know each other. But they went together, and then even halfway through their car ride, she, engulfed her in her, dark magic stuff and kept her, frozen so that she could leave the car, and she just walked off to God knows where. So that happened, and then Gar was the one person left behind at the tower, and Dick gave him the orders to watch over Connor, see if he wakes up, and if he does, then to get him in touch with Superman through Bruce. So he did try and call Bruce, but then the call either never went through or Gar cancelled it. But either way, the call never really properly went through. But then Connor and Gar hung out. They played video games, and then seeing his, I think my favorite part of that was like after seeing his skills at video games and defeating a boss that no one else ever could, he immediately just kind of invited Connor to be a Titan. Your skills at video games now are like are the kind of criteria that they judge you on if you want to be a Titan. You're like you can crime fight all the live long day, so long as you can actually defeat villains in video games, then you're ready to be a superhero. So. Yeah, but no, he actually took him out. He took him out into San Francisco to actually show him the sights and everything, and then Connor heard the pleas for help of a guy being arrested by the police, and then he kind of misinterpreted that, and then he attacked the police, and the police attacked him. Then he laser visioned a car and blew that up, and all sorts of stuff went down, and then it was all over the news, and then Gar was panicking. It was a whole that was like that was a shambles in and of itself. That was shambolic in and of itself. So. That was that. And then we had, so Hank and Dawn broke up because they went back to Wyoming where they originally were and had some fun at a karaoke bar singing Ain't No Mountain High Enough. That scene was cool. That scene was really beautiful. They have amazing voices. It was beautifully done. But then once they left the bar, they actually ran into Ellis's sister, who recognized them almost immediately and swore vengeance for her brother, whom... she believes that they were responsible for killing, so that kind of put a damper on their mood, and then Hank couldn't sleep at night, and he kind of came to the conclusion that, Hank and Dawn are kind of too dangerous for the world, and as long as they're together, people around them will die, and all that jibber jabber. So then his solution was to break it up, to see how the world would cope without Hank and Dawn, how much better the world could be without Hank and Dawn. So they've broken up, so yeah, it's... Yeah, like a lot of characters going here and there, a lot of characters kind of, breaking up and just stuff going on. So, yeah, I mean, I think the kind of like an ongoing theme of this season is that the original Titans do have secrets and mysteries of their own that are coming back to bite them now, harder than they ever thought it would, But yeah, it's an interesting way to go about all of this, because I think now like last episode itself seemed like a bit of a mess, but I think the stuff leading up to that was still watchable. It wasn't perfect, but it was still watchable. There were some real gems here and there, but it was enjoyable at most. But last episode just seemed really kind of weird. So I think that definitely didn't help the fact that it was like a mixture of that and also me watching it while still half asleep and not really processing much of what I was seeing. So yeah, hopefully this one is actually better and I can actually enjoy it and upload it and everything. So yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from the last episode. So on to episode 10. As always, this will be the highlight reel. So if you guys want to catch the full-length reaction for this episode, that will be over on Patreon. All you need is your own copy of the episode, and you can sync it up, and you're good to go. So yeah, that is it. So on to Titans. Let's go. Assault on a federal officer. Definitely. How long would that get you, though, at most? Sentence 7 years, no probate. 7 years for assault on a federal officer. Is that accurate? Oh, it's Mercy.
We should play more board games as a family.
Huh.
It's supposed to promote bonding and connection. And it's fun.
Well, she had a family, a wife and kids. Well, I say had, I don't know if they're still around in the present day.
Something about a penguin eating a fish.
Okay, sooner or later they're gonna find me. You shouldn't be around when that happens. You might get hurt. You didn't do anything wrong.
No, he's an innocent little...
Okay.
Well, he jumped on a police officer. He's probably as guilty as Connor is. Oh.
I said get the hell out of here, you stupid mutt! Go!
Seeing people yell at dogs always makes me a mixture of upset and angry. Yeah. Well, I don't think he's gonna bother calling any other team. I mean, would Bruce not hear about this? Would he not try and bail him out or something? Could Bruce bail him out?
Enjoy, detective.
Yeah, putting a nice bullseye target on his back with that. Oh, is it? Is it Connor?
Hello?
Is.
Who's there?
Oh, Crypto! Crypto!
Crypto.
Crypto! He can just ring the door. I mean, he's a super dog. He's probably super smart, but he can just ring the doorbell. Really? Oh, that's so cute when he's just jumping up. Like.
Do you think these are organic?
That's a great conversation starter, isn't it?
We've got to
Healthy
die of
food.
something.
So we'll do it. Who?
Rafa! You know Sally. The cop.
Oh.
Cause he's a cop, motherfucker.
Oh, they want
Saw
the.
him in the yard. He's down with the guards.
Ah, god damn it! They want him to kill Dick. They want him to kill Dick.
$12, puto.
Oh shit. Fuck. Great, now he's like a black-haired Castiel.
I killed the guy once. I clawed him to pieces.
So maybe we should both be locked up.
Time to go.
Okay, what's this?
You don't have to.
Mind your business, kid.
It's okay.
Oh, now Rachel's gonna be a Titan and save her from whoever the fuck that is. Yeah. That's gonna be her Titan business this episode. There we go. There we go. There we go.
I'm not a kid.
No. She's a super kid. Okay, okay. Alright, Rachel, just enough to send a message. Just enough to send a message. Okay, alright, yeah. You wanna run now, dude. You wanna run. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. That was cool. Whoa, what's this? What is that? Oh! Did she just bring a gargoyle to life? With her powers? Oh, she just brought Gargoyle to life.
This is what the Titans do. We have each other's backs.
They're a team.
So where are they? The other Titans.
Yeah, about that.
Maybe I should do what Dick wanted me to do in the first place.
Games moved back to
Call me
Superman.
big guns.
Zone 6, unauthorized access.
What's that?
Zone 6.
Zone 6 is the roof.
Oh, they're coming in through the roof! Oh. Oh, damn. Oh, and they're already inside the building. They're already inside the building.
Kill the other one.
The other one? No, you're not killing the dog. You ain't killing the dog. Oh. Oh, damn. Oh. Oh, you bastard. There we go. There we go. Oh. Oh. Yes, Gar's got that training in. Boom. Oh. Oh, yeah. He's got that training in. Oh, yes, tiger out. Yes. Fur out. That's it.
Change of plan. Tranquilizers only. I'm a tiger and alive.
Oh, she wants Gar now. She wants Gar. Oh. Well, isn't this cozy?
What is this place?
Oh. She's got friends. Many more friends. What's he drawing on the thing? Is it a bird? I just noticed the head. Yeah, I just clocked the head. And then there's wings and a tail. Yeah, it's a bird. Yeah.
Hey.
Al Azul.
Al Azul.
You know Al Azul?
Al Azul.
In our village, Al Azul's our hero. He lives between the moon and the stars. And in the time of greatest need, he flies down and saves you.
A bird that comes in the night and saves people?
Yes. He's gonna save us tonight.
Is this gonna be the motivation for
There is no Al
Nightwing?
Azul.
Yes, there is.
Because
Why
it's
are
a
you here?
bird.
The gangs that came after you, immigration that came after you.
And tonight, he's gonna save us.
tonight. At night.
You'll see.
Wings come at night. The wings come at night. This is. I don't know if it's just me putting it on the nose, but I love it either way. I love it either way.
But I could help you. I could offer you what Niles Calder never did.
She knows Chief? She knows the Chief of the Titans universe?
Dr. Calder and CADMUS Industries have crossed paths from time to time.
Oh, okay. Oh, jeez.
I was out
Whoa.
last night,
Oh,
but it was too dark to see.
the Gargoyle just... Wow, the Gargoyle really took one out of him, huh?
Look, she's not just missing. It's worse.
Yeah, she's giving inanimate objects the power to kill people. Yeah. Did that Gargoyle just fly back straight back to the place, the roof that it was on? Or is it still out there somewhere? Oh crap, the Corto Maltese.
Get inside. Now.
Oh jeez, oh shit. Oh no. Oh, he's gone.
But if I'm still alive tomorrow, then that's my sign. And it means that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. He's giving me a chance to be something else. Maybe you're the one who's blind.
Maybe Dick should just turn to Alazor. Just solve everyone's problems. Yeah. Oh. Oh, damn. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, he wants to watch that. Oh, you sadistic son of a bitch. Oh! Dick. 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 Okay. Alazor! Alazor! Oh, yeah, Alazor! Oh, there we go. Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, just in time. Oh, shit. Oh. He got them out. Yeah, he got them out. He got them out.
What do we do about him?
He says he wants to be a Titan.
Oh, the Wizard of Oz.
Reunited with his team. I think it's an excellent idea.
What's she gonna send him back as? Because it's not just about letting him go, it's about using him to their advantage. So they're clearly gonna turn him into something and then unleash him on the team. Yeah. That's the end of the episode. That's the end. Okay. Oh, fuck. Ow. Oh, sure. God, I didn't have a good enough grip. Not good enough grip, it just whacked me in the foot. Ow. Ow. Okay, yeah, it's not. It's not that bad. Still kind of hurts though. Okay. So yeah, that was interesting. So Dick was sent to prison. Dick spent some time in prison. He had a 7-year sentence. To me, that doesn't seem very kind of accurate to what his crime was. Assault on a police officer. We saw exactly how much he assaulted them. We saw how much he assaulted them. He punched one. He punched two, flipped one, and I think there was hand-to-hand assault. He never used the guns. He never actually, he held them. He kind of on the ground. He pinned them. He did that kind of stuff. It was clear assault. Like unaggravated too. He walked up to them and then hit them. So that much is clear. So he can very easily plead guilty. And he did plead guilty too. He actually pleaded guilty to the crime and wanted to go to prison. So there was that. But yeah. So yeah. But then that 7. I mean, 5 years. 5 years seems more like a minimum. 5 years minimum seems like for assault. 5 years seems more accurate. But then 7 years, I think maybe is because it's like a. I mean, was it? I think they said federal officer, but I think. Was it actually like a federal officer, like a police, like a police officer or something? Because I assumed it was just airport security that he attacked. I assumed it was just like the security, and then more just came around the corner to arrest him. So I didn't think it was actual like law enforcement that were present at the airport. But Apparently, it was federal officers, so that got him into prison, and he was going to be given the special treatment. He was going to be because he was a detective, and the guard that was actually taking him in actually was also like a member of like law enforcement. He actually applied to be that kind of thing. The guard took him in and actually offered him kind of special treatment, like his own cell and his own like kind of like a space to, you know, because he was awaiting trial. He was in prison but awaiting trial, so like a space to be, you know, comfortable and safe until the trial. But no, Dick wasn't having any of it. Dick wanted to be punished as appropriately as possible, as, you know, like much as he could without actually, you know, without it being too much for him to handle. So he, you know, he volunteered for Gen Pop and went into the big leagues, into the big bad dangerous league. So so he went in. I think, yeah, like, you know, any member of ex-law enforcement now currently prisoner going into Gen Pop is a very, very bad idea, because that's where all the bad people are. So he, like, you know, and especially the guard sending him in, you know, like, register, like, referring to him as detective, was just putting like a nice big red bullseye target on his back, and just, you know, like making his cellmates know that, you know, this was that kind of this used to be that kind of person. So if you send like a member of law enforcement into a prison as a prisoner and you know, do that, then it's like basically, oh, like that person must be a snitch, like that, like that's the kind of reputation that you automatically get. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, I mean, in terms of this, I mean, like they handled it as kind of, I think they handled it all mostly from Dick's perspective. I think mostly because I think, you know, like we very barely saw him getting into any actual trouble. There was some kind of, you know, like some, you know, face to face taunting here and there, but, you know, he didn't get into any actual fights. He didn't actually. No one really picked on him unnecessarily. So I feel like it was mostly from Dick's perspective of him being a detective in, like a former detective um, in a prison yard, and just him kind of minding his own business and keeping to himself and refusing to help anybody. Like he said he wasn't going to help anybody. And then in the end he actually did. So yeah, so that just, I mean, I think they were going for more. They were going for more of like the perspective they were going for was more like how this kind of how being in prison would affect him, and what approach he would take to be, you know, to be punished, and like how he would handle being punished and also being in this kind of environment, as opposed to actually throwing someone like him into prison and seeing how they would cope. Like you do get that, because it's not meant to be completely unrealistic, but you know, it's mostly to show how he's actually punishing himself, how, like, what he's going through, what he's putting himself through, and stuff like that. So it's basically kind of just simple stuff like him being a detective, going into Gen Pop, dealing with all these other people. So yeah, that was cool. And he met his other cellmates, the ex-Quarter Maltese, the ex kind of, you know, prison band members, the ones who deserted both their country and also their people in prison. So they had, so I mean, their dilemma was they either kill in prison, like they either, you know, get killed in prison, or they get deported back to their home, and then they get killed there. So, you know, they had a big dilemma on their hands, and the only way to get out of it was to actually do what their people, like, to do what the crew in prison wanted them to do in the first place, to actually kill for them and stuff. So then, you know, Dick being the newest kind of registered target, he was their immediate new soft spot. I mean, Dick being a registered soft spot, he was actually, you know, he was their newly registered target. So like they made it clear, like, you know, your new cellmate, the cop, the snitch, you know, you got 12 hours to ice him, or you get iced yourself. So yeah, so Dick kind of knew that, you know, they either break free. I mean, he figured that they were actually trying to do like a prison break from the beginning, the way they were eyeing the guards and the watchtower and everything. So he knew that in general, their two options were break out or kill, to actually do what the Quarter Maltese want them to do and kill Dick, or break out and gain their freedom. So yeah, so he didn't want to help them, but he also didn't. He advised them as much as he could against actually breaking out and against actually, you know, doing bad things. So Yeah, it was an interesting run. It was an interesting run, and yeah, I think the Al Azul thing, the Al Azul thing. So yeah, like the way the kid described that hero too, like a bird hero that comes in the night, like lives between the moon and the stars, and comes at night and saves them and stuff. And Dick just struggling to believe in that. Dick just struggling. I mean, because I think with Dick, it's like he just doesn't really believe in being a hero anymore, or at least he doesn't believe in being a hero the way that he used to be. He used to be Robin. He used to be Robin. He used to be Batman's sidekick. He used to be Robin. He used to wear that mask under that mantle, fight crime in that way. So, in season 1, that's what he was trying so hard to escape from, and now in season 2, we see he's trying to be a hero without being what he used to be, without actually, having to fall under those same tricks and stuff. And like being Robin meant actually following all of Batman's ideals, and that was what that it was like. Batman's teachings were one of the things that he didn't fully agree with. He didn't fully agree with, like, how Bruce raised him, what Bruce turned him into and stuff. So with this one, I think season 2 is like it's about him. I think being. I think he's got those two. I think he's got those kind of two sets of dilemmas. One is to actually be the leader of the Titans in the midst of all this stuff coming back, all the Titans history coming back, and the other one is actually figuring out who he is if he's not Robin. He still wants to be a hero. He still wants to actually do some good, but then bringing the Titans back in a much bigger, more confirmed way. Has brought back the history that he tried so hard to bury, so hard to actually just forget and stuff. So he needs to figure out who he is if he's not Robin, and also figure out how to actually let the past rest. I mean, I think the first step he's discovered is actually admitting the past too, because he didn't tell everyone everything. He didn't even want to remember what happened, what he caused. So yeah, so with this one, I think him. I think I think it's an interesting route to go, getting himself actually punished, because I think with what Deathstroke said in the last episode, it's like, I sentence you to live alone. Like, so he he sentenced Dick to actually live a life alone without the Titans. No, just knowing that his friends were out there, his family was out there, but not actually being able to be with them, not bringing the Titans together, not being a part of them and stuff. So then he went the extra mile. Actually, he felt like he was the reason Jericho died. He killed Jericho indirectly. He got Jericho involved in this mess. He went to the church and fought Deathstroke, and then got Jericho caught in the crossfire. So he's punishing himself. Like he's punishing himself for having gotten a person killed to begin with. So yeah, so I think like that kind of exploration of Dick's journey to Nightwing, I think it's a really cool way, because I think, again, like, I think it's I mention this so much, I feel like I sometimes might mention it, but then because of the way I analyze these things without having deep original comic book knowledge, I feel like I kind of have to mention it so people don't think that I'm just getting stuff wrong on purpose or anything like that. Like, I haven't read the comics, I haven't read the Batman or the Nightwing or the Superman or any original comics. I've actually got like a collection. I've obtained a collection of certain comic series, but for one thing, knowing where to start is a nightmare, and also actually getting and like this is more of a personal thing. Actually being able to find the time to read those comics is also another issue. So yes, I mean, with adaptations, you get that issue of not knowing how much of the original stuff is going to be adapted, and also in what way it's adapted. So the backstories it makes no sense not to stick to the backstories or to change. I mean, they might change some things up, they might tone it down or add or like change some stuff for for adaptation purposes, but to change it completely would be pretty moronic. So like the creators and the writers know not to do that. But still, I mean, I don't know what Dick's transformation to Nightwing from Nightwing to Robin is like in the comics, but I think it's also just like one of the ways in which there are different Robins in the comics. Like in this one, we still got Jason Todd as Robin. And in season 3, it's confirmed he's going to be Red Hood. I did see like a post posted by the official Titans Twitter page, confirming that like they actually drew up a costume and everything. It looks super cool, but they confirmed that Jason Todd would be returning as Red Hood. So I'm curious, because I think Red Hood's thing, I think that's like I think I first discovered that origin story through playing Arkham Knight. So in that one, Robin was captured by Joker. Joker then killed him and sent Batman the tape of him killing him, and so Batman thought, oh, that Robin's dead. So then he moved on after a while, found another Robin, but then Jason Todd was never dead. Jason Todd survived, or like, you know, he was never actually killed. And then he came back with a vengeance. He came back feeling like, you know, Batman had just used him as Robin and then moved on once he thought he'd lost him. Actually moved on to another Robin, so then Jason came back with a vengeance, and then he became Red Hood. I mean, Jason Todd at heart, I think he is like a much more hardened vigilante. He is someone who believes in more brutal methods resulting in more accurate results. So I think, you know, like that much alone is clear. So it wasn't just him coming back with a vengeance, but it was him kind of understanding, you know, I mean, like that scene, like, you know, like that like his episode back in season 1 of him just brutalizing those police officers was proof enough that, you know, Jason Todd is basically already Red Hood, but just under the guise and the mentality of being Robin. So him being Red Hood, so I mean, I've avoided looking into that for the Titans adaptation because, again, as you can clearly see, I haven't finished the season, so I don't know what his arc, how his arc ends in this season, and like, you know, because I think I highly doubt that. I mean, because they haven't brought in the Joker, they've mentioned him, they've confirmed he's in this universe, but they haven't actually. I don't believe that they've actually, you know. I mean, as of so far, I don't believe that they've actually built up to anywhere near having Jason die, and I mean, they might. I mean, you know, I don't know if they can change it because I think, you know, him dying at Joker's hand is a pretty pivotal point for his origin, isn't it? As Red Hood, like it's like, you know, him dying at him dying at Joker's hands, and then Batman thinking that he's dead and then moving on is one of the things that makes him so angry. Like, you know, he uses him and then moving on so quickly. So it's one of the things that actually brings him back with much more anger and turns him into Red Hood. So I don't know how they could adapt that, or like what they would like, what part of that story they would change to bring him back, or maybe, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Again, it's an adaptation, so they could like they have the free will, but at the same time they don't. They have the free will to change things, but at the same time they kind of don't, because I mean, you can't please everyone. That's like a kind of one of the basic tenets of life. You can't really please everyone, and you shouldn't try to. But at the same time, it's like, this is something, you know, if they change that, then it's something that would actually annoy, you know, understandably annoy a lot of fans. But yeah, I don't know how they would actually change it, because I think, you know, I don't know, because I mean, Jason came close to dying at Deathstroke's hands, so I think unless they do something with that, like, you know, oh, he almost died at Deathstroke's hands, and then the team thought he died, and they moved on, so instead of being mad at just Batman, he's actually mad at the team, because, you know, he wanted to be a Titan and stuff, and they thought he died and just moved on, so then he comes back with a vengeance against the team. And then season 3, the biggest fight, Nightwing versus Red Hood. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, that's Red Hood stuff. Being Nightwing, yeah, I don't know how he. I don't know. Like, I mean, yeah, I have no choice but to almost go off of the story they go through with this. And in this episode alone, they went further to show that, you know, Dick, he wants to help people, just not in the same way he did as Robin. He still, I think deep down he does still believe he can be a hero and like be a masked hero, like a vigilante, but he just can't be Robin. He can't be Robin. Robin is a name attached to Batman. That's a different mentality. It's a mentality he can't, you know, afford to have anymore. So yeah, and that ending fight scene, he became Al-Azur. He became the bird that comes in at night and saves them and stuff. He saved them. He fought off the guards with some expert skills, and, you know, even I think he threw something. He threw something at the guard and then threw something at the control panel on the wall. Kept the gate open and let them go through, and then kind of, you know, like laid down his hands and everything. And even the guard mocked him, like, oh, the guy who doesn't help anyone, helping to escort him Maltese guys escape. So he wants to help, just not in the same way that he used to. So I think that's like, you know, like one stepping stone in his journey to becoming Nightwing, and that might just be the identity that helps to defeat Deathstroke. Yeah, because I think, you know, Robin is the one that Deathstroke holds a grudge against. You know, Robin being the leader of the Titans and everything. So he needs to become someone else. He needs to become something else. So yeah, I look forward to that. But that was cool. I mean, I couldn't clock the drawing on the wall at first, because I think he hadn't finished it. To like when we first saw it, he hadn't actually probably finished it. He was drawing like these little zigzaggy lines, and I think the later scene that they showed, I was like, wait, that looks like a head, like a bird's head at the top, and then there's wings on the side and something at the bottom. I was like, oh, it's a bird. And I think it did somewhat remind me of of the wings he has on his Nightwing suit. I think in like the comics and in like the video games as well, in the Arkham games, like he does have like a blue bird that just stretches along his chest. And it looks like a similar enough design. So he gets inspired by an optimistic inmate, an optimistic cellmate and stuff. So I think it's a pretty neat way of going forward with that story. It's pretty neat. So I look forward to seeing how. I mean, I can't imagine he's in prison for the rest of this season. I can't imagine. I mean, no, I actually can't. I can't imagine that one going through. Because again, I mean, he's awaiting trial. He is awaiting trial. So I imagine that must be when Bruce comes in. That has to be when Bruce comes in. Because I was wondering, like, okay, Bruce must have heard about this. Bruce must have heard, because I think this kind of thing would probably be in the news, right? Like, like a random man, just randomly assaults, two federal officers at an airport, like. That kind of thing probably would be on alert, and especially Bruce would have some kind of special alert as well for, like, he wouldn't hear it was Dick. He would just hear, like, oh, it's a random guy just attacking two federal officers and then pleading guilty. And I think that pattern would actually probably alert Bruce too. Like, a guy attacks them and then he pleads guilty, so he might check into it, he might not, but I do not specifically know. But I feel like Bruce would have ways of finding out. He would have ways of finding out. So then come the trial where he actually does where they actually evaluate his case and confirm his sentence. I think that might be when Bruce comes in, either himself, or he like sends a really, really great lawyer to actually help bail him out and stuff. So yeah, but I think, because I can't imagine they actually go forward and put him through a full prison sentence. I imagine that they'd send him in just for like the pre-trial sentence, and then he goes to court, and then that stuff happens, and then and then he kind of has like different sets of epiphanies that drive him towards becoming like a new hero. So but I was wondering where Bruce was. Surely he'd bail his boy out, but no, I think maybe we'll just have to wait for that. Gar, Connor, and Crypto. So Crypto is a super smart dog. He can just boop the doorbell. So I was wondering, like, because he opened up the camera. Gar opened up the camera. I was like, hey, like, hello, who's there? And then I was half expecting Mercy to walk into frame and be like, hi, is Connor here? We think we might have seen him come through here, but no, it's Crypto just jumping, just bouncing up on the floor and stuff like that. Was so cute. That was super cute. Him, like, booping the doorbell and then actually jumping up and down into frame and stuff. So he is a super smart dog. That can actually ring the doorbell and knows. I think I think he can talk to He can talk to Connor too. He was barking and then Connor was actually responding as if it was a conversation. So I think he just barks in Kryptonian. But yeah, Crypto is precious. He's so precious. But yeah, no, him and Connor led him and Gar, the Crypto and Gar led Connor back to the tower. They brought him back to the tower and decided to try and protect him there. And then the CADMUS agents tracked them to the tower. So I think some of them came through from the roof. Others seem to have already gotten inside the building through like the training room and the hallways and stuff. So they were pretty fairly surrounded. So and they held off a good fight. They put up a good fight, Crypto doing like a double flipped takedown over a guard and doing that, and then he got caught by a kryptonite net, and then Connor doing some super strength tricks, and guard pulled out some martial, like that training from that training with Rachel and Dick and Jason has paid off. He actually used some martial arts. He did some punches and kicks and dodges, and then did a final spin kick and stuff. And he was like, yeah. Like, he actually, I think Ryan Potter himself actually does have some kind of martial arts training of some kind that he actually really wanted to put into use for this show. So I'm glad they finally let him do something. I'm glad that he actually, like him and also Gar as a character. I'm really happy that they actually gave him the chance to actually put that training to good use, because I think that's one of the things that's kind of bugged me this episode. Like, the return of Deathstroke has put a stop to so much. Like, Dick brought back the Titans to give the kids a chance to be heroes, but then Deathstroke comes back and brings some old Titans kind of heartbreaks back with him. So because of that, like, the kids are kind of kept under wraps and away from all the big bad danger. So like, Rachel kind of has her powers, that's her asset. Gar can turn into a tiger, that's his asset. But then Jason, he's also been trained by Batman, so that's his asset. They all have their own assets, but training now, like training is as close as they get to actually fighting. They don't really go out on missions as much or anything like that. So to see Gar actually use some fights, to use some skills against an actual CADMUS agent was actually really cool to see. But then as soon as and then he even got ready to tiger out. But then the body cam from the CADMUS agent caught him, and Mercy saw him tiger out in that moment instantly. So that then caught her eye. So yeah, and Mercy has a family. Mercy has a wife and kids. So that I didn't see coming. Like her actually having a family. Like I mean. Yeah, I think she, from the way she talked to Eve about, her having spent so much of her life, like dependent and like kind of like dedicated to this project. I felt like she was at least partly talking from experience. Like like Mercy herself must not have had much family of her own. I mean, Mercy Graves in this. I was wondering if Otis is in this too. Like if she has her brother who's working for Lex too. Like maybe he's closer to Lex and she's running things at Cadmus, but. I don't know, but she has a wife and kids. And game night was cancelled because Lex wanted to go forward with Subject 13. So Mercy caught them, and she knows Niles. Well, yeah, Cadmus knows Niles called her. Like, I mean, it kind of makes sense because Cadmus themselves do like more unorthodox and more extravagant science experiments and stuff. So Niles is known for taking in strange people and kind of fixing bringing some order to the chaos of their lives, like what he did to Rita Farr and to Cliff Steele. And the Niles Quarter would be the Niles Quarter we actually saw back in season 1 and not the one played by Timothy Dalton in the actual Doom Patrol TV show. But still, like, she's aware of him, she's aware of his work, they've crossed paths, and I think she said that in a really kind of antagonistic tone, like, oh, we've crossed paths, but he's never really agreed to work with us. He's never shared any of his information with us, but we know what he's done, what he's been doing, and we like they had one of his experiments in front of them firsthand and stuff. So yeah, but Gar stayed strong. I appreciate the fact that Gar stayed strong. He didn't really fall for any of their kind of wordplay tactics, though the same way that she used it on Connor, like pretending to have worked with Eve and pretending to want the best for him. So he kind of he confirmed that he wanted to go back to the Titans and be with his team again. So I think that's where she actually kind of drew her plan from. Like she even said that at the end, like he wants to be with his team, like sending him back to the team. So yeah, I think she also made the promise that she could turn him into whatever he wanted. And I think. Yeah, like we haven't really. He turned into a snake in the season premiere in Trigon, but they never addressed that. Like he never actually talked about wanting to turn into anything else, about trying to turn into anything else. Like, I mean, you'd think that would also be the training he'd get, it's like not just hand-to-hand combat, but also actually learning to hone his powers and stuff like that. Like, neither him nor Rachel have any of that kind of thing. Like, Rachel's powers have been going haywire, and his just seem kind of extensive. Like, just seem like he can turn into one animal, and then that's it. Like, if he could turn into a dog, or if he could turn into like a bird or something else, like it would be cool. Like if you could actually focus on turning into other animals, and that would be a cool kind of piece of training to see. But no, I think that might be what Cadmus does to him instead. I think maybe saving that stage of his training for Cadmus might make things more dramatic, because then they turn him into something, but they do it in very, very hostile ways and for very, very hostile reasons. Like they turn him into a much more dangerous animal that the Titans probably can't handle alone. And especially with the Titans split up right now as well, like they're not really likely to come back together too soon. But then turning him into something more dangerous and then unleashing him on the world for a Titan level threat, then. Yeah, that might be what their plan actually is. And even showing him the Wizard of Oz, like the Wizard of Oz. I was wondering why they were showing him the Wizard of Oz, but then they have like a lion in that, and they have like all those little things with the wings just popping about. So I was wondering if he was going to turn into something like that. But I don't know. But she does have plans. She does have plans for him. So I guess we'll have to wait and see exactly what those plans are. And then Rachel, we met up with Rachel again. Rachel was at the soup kitchen, eating more than just soup, actually eating some meat and potatoes and vegetables and everything. And she even met a girl. She even met another girl there who was in a dilemma of her own, living under an abusive something, like another guy who came along and threatened to kill her if she ever left again. So that was her being a Titan. That was her kind of moment of actually being a Titan outside of the Titans, actually helping someone else and meeting her and even giving him like a warning message and stuff. So that was cool, seeing her meet someone else from like a similarly kind of dire an abusive situation. Because I think, because like, Rachel herself, like, you know, even before the Titans, even before the Titans, she had like a very, very, you know, chaotic kind of life. Like she lived under a mother who wasn't really her mother, but she lived with these nightmares and these powers that would go haywire, and this demon inside her. You know, like back then, it was a demon that was dedicated to bringing Trigon over, so she faced the troubles of that as well. But even now in this season, her powers seem to be growing more and more unstable. So she, you know, lives with that and the Titans and all these lies and secrets. Like she lives a very, very chaotic life. So it's a lot for a kid her age to go through. So meeting someone else like that proved to be, frankly, pretty useful. But yeah, it was cool to see her meeting her, and even I figured, you know, she would jump in at the end to save her too. So that was really, really cool, saving her life. And then the girl took her back to her place, which seemed very like it seemed very much like a makeshift shelter. Like they found some place. It wasn't exactly the tidiest or the cleanest, but it was. They made do with what they made the best of the equally bad situations they all had. And there were other girls too. There were other girls that actually came in and met Rachel, so she's found like a new group that hopefully she can help in some way before actually returning to the Titans at some point. But yeah, that was really cool. That was a really cool scene to see. I think it was good to see her helping someone else too. I think you know, I think it wasn't just like a being a Titan outside of the Titans thing, but it was like her actually meeting someone else. You know, someone that she understood where they were coming from, and someone who understood where she was coming from, and actually helping to, you know, put like some kind of like a shining light on their situation, helping them be free of their abusers and sending a message and all that kind of stuff. And then of course meeting the others, that was really cool. So I hope she doesn't leave them too soon. I hope she's actually able to help them all in some way before she returns. And then I think that might be the motivator she needs. Like, you know, she can still help people even with these kind of unstable powers, but she does need to actually learn to hone them as well somewhere. I think that is what the training should be at this point. Like it shouldn't just be like, you know, Dick has never even addressed that. He's taught them nothing but hand-to-hand combat, even knowing that they have powers, even knowing that you know, Gar can turn into animals or like an animal, and that Rachel has all these other powers. I mean, fair enough. He doesn't fully know how to deal with that kind of thing because he doesn't come from like a power based background, despite knowing powered people. But still, like, you know, you'd think it's something that, you know, he'd you know, look for a way to actually help them understand themselves and understand their powers and everything. So I don't know. But I guess we'll see. We will see. But a piece of her power was left behind. A piece of her power, like a little mist of her power, like wafted away and then went into a gargoyle. She brought a gargoyle to life with her powers. That was wacky as hell. That was wacky as hell. She brought a gargoyle to life with her powers, and then that gargoyle was a gargoyle of pure vengeance. Like that was a murderous gargoyle. That was a gargoyle full of a gargoyle full of vengeance that he literally chased after the guy. And we saw the aftermath too. We saw the aftermath. You know, he was missing a leg, and his chest cavity was ripped wide open. His face was mauled in half, and just like a bloody fleshy mess on the ground next to the dumpster. So yeah, I mean, I feel like that must have been the darkness that came out, because I think you see, Rachel herself, she does somewhat transition between kind of stances and mindsets when she brings her powers out. Like when she brings her powers out, she brings out a much more powered version of herself. Like she's a lot less merciful. She's a lot more brutal. Like what she did to Rose too. Like, you know, like before that it was just hand-to-hand combat, but then her powers come out, and then she throws Rachel across the room and ends up breaking half her bones. You know, and you know, like Jason, she came close to flinging swords right through him, and then, you know, Gar, she, you know, sliced around his wrist. And like when she brings out her powers, she brings out a somewhat more brutal, more vengeful form of herself that fights even harder. So with this, I think, you know, like whatever piece of her powers got left behind, it was about pure anger and vengeance and stuff like that. So I mean, I think it wasn't just pure I think it wasn't just pure, you know, unaggravated cold-blooded murder or anything like that. It's not like the gargoyle chased after a random person. It was after that same guy, the same abuser of the other girl. So the Gargoyle went off to finish the job, or to actually go the extra mile and just send a more permanent message, you know. So she sent the message. She pinned him against the wall, freaked him out with her powers, and made the message clear, like, you know, I could kill you, but I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna not. I'm just gonna send a message. But then her powers kind of have a different motivation. Be like, nah, we're just gonna go kill him. We're just gonna possess this Gargoyle here, rip it off the roof, and then just go fly and just kill them out. Like, imagine being killed by an animated Gargoyle. Like, you know, like a literal clumps of crafted and molded rock just comes after you and just, you know, tears you apart. It would be horrifying and it would be painful and stuff. But I mean, I can't lie, it's still kind of badass. It's still somewhat badass. But yeah, again, that's what Rachel does. Even unknowingly, I think she had no idea. She probably had no idea that would happen. But then Donna, who is on Rachel's trail, found it. She found the bloody paw prints and handprints at the tower. She found out the tower had been attacked, and then she found the dead body by the dumpster and figured that was Rachel. So yeah, so she's hunting down Rachel. So yeah, it's also a bit of a shambolic episode this time too. Also a bit of a mess this episode, but it's something that's more kind of enjoyable this time around. So at least I think so. So yeah. So yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from this episode. So look forward to seeing how Dick's prison sentence continues into the next one, and seeing where he lands himself and exactly what kind of self-evaluation he does on his journey to becoming a new hero. Look forward to seeing where Connor and Crypto and Gar end up, and Rachel ends up, and how all this stuff continues and concludes into the final few episodes. But yeah, it should be fun. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from this one. So that was Titans. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on Titans. Once again, the full-length reaction will be available on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.